Hi, my name is Venkat, and I'm a SaaS trainer, and I would like to deal with clinical SaaS project training also. What we do is today, so we will just go through some, basics about what is SaaS, what is clinical SaaS programming. So we'll discuss. So first, I would like to recommend you. So we will learn the SaaS, base and advanced SaaS. Then you can onboard this course. Okay, so just mainly deal with CDISC, STTM, and Adams. Uh, okay, so CDISC means Clinical Data Interchange Standard Consortium, which is formed in 1997 by a group of volunteers in the US, which is now, uh, recognized by US FDA. So the main aim of the CDISC is to accelerate the drug development process or speed up the drug development process. So before we discuss this this training, I would like to suggest you, if you completed your base and advanced SAS, then you can go through the exactly what we are going to deal with STTM and Adams. You can easily understand. So if you want to learn the SAS, we can also provide base SAS and advanced SAS training also. Okay. The All right. So what is exactly CDISC means? CDISC is a global and open, and it's a multidisciplinary, non-profitable organization, which is mainly established to create some set of standards which will support to the pharma and CROs and biotech companies to accelerate the drug development process. So all this, standards are platform independent standards. So we can, freely download from CDISC website. So I will explain to what is exactly the, the guidelines. So the overview of CDISC standards means, so how do we implement the CDISC standards means first, so once we completed the clinical trial from the client area, so then we will start working on CDISC implementation. First of all, we required some raw data. Before we discuss, I'll go through some backend process where do you get the raw data and how do you get the raw data. So first, so the protocol will be created. Then once the protocol is created, then a backend team will create the CRF form. So either paper CRF, electronic CRF. Then all the data we can save in the database. So from the database we can start the STTM. So once we pull up the data, so then we can start the STTM and Adam implementation, and then so tables and listings. The CDISC is mainly we will work on STTM, Adams, and tables. STTM means study data tabulation model. Adams means analysis data model. Okay, so I'll show you the what is exactly the STTM guidelines. STTM, so the study data tabulation model. The current version is 3.2, and which specifies the format of datasets from raw data. So basically, you'll get the non-seed standard raw data from the client. So we need to convert according to the CDISC standards. Okay. So the mainly we design for storage of the data, and which is the FTA requirements. So the flexible, and which is mainly used for flexible and more flexible model to accommodate many kind of trials data. Okay, some basic information on study designing. Okay. The STTM domains, from screening to end of the clinical trial will get enormous data, so we need to manage the data. So based on some observations or values, the Clinical Data Interchange Standard Consortium has divided into some classifications. The first one is interventions classification and events classification, and then interventions, events, and special purpose, and findings and trial design models. So the STTM data divided into some domains, which is nothing but data set. Domain is nothing but here collection of observations from different raw data sets, and which should be a topic variable. Okay, so the domain we are standardizing two letters abbreviations. For example, DM, which is nothing but demographics, and AE, nothing but adverse events. So we have around 40 domains are there. So we have to implement. So it depends on the requirement. We will be working on it. Okay, so as I explained to you, so six class of domains. First one is special purpose category and the interventions category, events category, findings and trial design models and relationship, sample supplementary, qualifiers and RELREC. Okay, so these are all just example I gave you, and then this is the typical STTM example. So what we have to do is we have to map the STTM mapping, uh, based on the raw data set. So how do we implement this STTM mapping? Means first of all, you'll get the raw data from the client. Okay, so once you have a client raw data, so you have to review some documents like protocol, CRF, ACRF, and specification, STTM, IG, and client guidelines. So then what you have to do is you need to understand the STTM implementation guide. The STTM implementation guide is here, which is the CD standard. So what we have to do is so if you look at this, the categories of the domains, the demographic domain, comments domain, subject elements, and subject visits, the special purpose domains like interventions, events, and findings about trial design models, and the supplementary qualifiers and RELREC. So these are all the domains we will work. Okay. So how we exactly do means the first you'll get the raw data. So what you have to do is you just you'll get the raw data. From the raw data, what you have to do is you have to create STTM outputs. STTM outputs. From STTM outputs, we can implement Adams output. Adams output. Okay, from Adam output, we can create tables and listings and graphs and figures. Tables and listings and figures. Okay. So the from raw data set to which is non-CDISC standards, which is just client raw data. So we are using some CDISC conversion, which is STTM mapping we are doing. Okay. And then so once we created STTM mapping, then we can do the Adams mapping. So Adams, and then we will implement the tables and listings and figures. Okay. So this is the just core job. You will work on it. Okay. Now, so I will explain to you, for example, one domain. So how do we exactly work on how do we implement the STTM domain? For example, if you work on the special purpose category, the first domain is demographic domain, so which is comes under special purpose, and the structure is one record per subject. One record per subject. So here there are some standard variables are defined from the CDISC STTM. So we need to know about some variables here. Okay, so according to the variables, we need to map the data. So there are some variables: study ID, domain, USUB, JID, and then site ID, and you have RF STDTC, RF ENDTC, and then ARM CD, RF XSTDTC, RF XENDTC, and then we have birth date, and then we'll create age, and then age units, and then actom, and then actom cd dth dtc dthfl. And then we do have some variables. The race is the variable, country, and then ethnic, and then we have dm dtc, and then dm dy, and then sex variable. And let me go and check all the variables. And then we have rf ic dtc, and then rf en dtc, sorry, rf ic dtc, rf pen dtc. These are all just examples of. Then we do have some variables, permissible variables like inv id, inv name. I'm not giving exact order, just I'm giving some variables from demographic domain. So what we have to do is you need to understand all the variables from STTMIG. So according to these variables, we have to map it. So the study ID, domain is subject ID, site ID, RFST, DTC, RFN, and so there are some fixed variables are there. Let me check. 4, 5, 6. So these are all the variables, so we will be populating from STTM domain. So what we have to do is these variables we need to exactly check with the demographic domain. For example, this is one of the XYZ study. So this particular study is, so phase 1 study. So we have some data study, and then subject, site, and INV ID, and birth date, and sex, race, ethnicity, and country randomization code. So this is the client given data. So according to this data, so we have to map the variables exactly map with the STTMIG standards. Apart from that, so we have to populate some of the variables from different data sets. Okay. So the entire process we call STTM mapping, and so once we complete it, so we will keep all the domains on site. Right. So this is just brief introduction about STTM mapping. So once we've done the STTM mapping, so we will work on the atoms. So once we've done the atoms, we will work on the tables and listings and graphs. Okay, so this is just brief introduction about how we exactly do the real-time work. If you have any further queries, if you are really interested to work on the studies, some dummy studies for clinical SaaS project. So please contact us on 9603425465. This is my phone number, and then you can reach me on sas11.envenkat@gmail.com. So thank you so much for watching.